Welcome back into Trojan Sports Now, and welcome into our interview segment. And today we are joined by newly head coach of the Troy soccer team, Ged O'Connor. So new, he actually just got here this week. Coach, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome into Trojan territory. What's the week been like for you so far?
Hectic. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But it's been good, getting to know the players, learning names, but getting out on the field has been the best part.
How's it been with the players with the new adjustment? When do you actually meet with them this week?
I actually met with them at 7:15 Monday morning, just after one of their weights workouts. We had a quick chat, and then they went off to class, and then we started out on the field with group training that afternoon.
And what's kind of like been your week around the city of Troy? What's that been like, trying to get stuff moved in and everything?
I've not really been out. It's basically been from where I'm staying to the office, to the field, back to the house, with a couple of fast food breaks in between. So yeah, it's just been madness this week, to be honest.
Now, how tough was it for you to leave St. Leo and make the travel down here to up here to Troy, I guess?
It was very difficult, just with the manner of the whole change. It was very, very quick indeed. And I'd actually recruited to St. Leo 2 players from Troy a year ago, and also had got a number of players into St. Leo at Christmas. So especially having been there for so long, it was a difficult meeting with the players. And then when I finally left, it tugged at the old heartstrings a little bit.
Now, this week was National Signing Week, and Troy Soccer actually made some news. You guys signed five new players. So,
yep.
What was that process kind of like? I mean, did you have any hand in that, or were those players already coming on board beforehand?
I knew of one of the players from Florida, KK, but knowing that the former coach and the type of players that he's been able to attract over the last few years, my biggest concern was just making sure that they remained committed to Troy. So a number of phone calls, text messages and so on, just to try and ease their concerns. Unfortunately for us, all 5 committed. Now we're just looking forward to them getting on campus, and then let's start the season in August.
Yeah, so some of those players were committed when Jason was here, the old coach. So like what kind of philosophy do you pitch to those players that committed to an old coach, but a new coach is coming in? What kind of philosophy do you pitch to sort of keep them on board?
I think just to continue with the fact that we care about them as people and soccer players. Jason was gracious in giving me as much information about each of the players as well as the program as possible. So I'm really only one small piece of the whole Troy University and Troy Women's Soccer program puzzle. And so if they're still coming to Troy and they're going to be a part of the program, let's invite them in, and then we just move forward, and we'll find holes and we'll find spots, and hopefully we'll put out a great product come August time.
Speaking of great products, you had a lot of success down at St. Leo's, especially this past season. You guys finished in first place. What are you bringing from St. Leo's to Troy soccer come next fall?
I think just hopefully a fitness level, toughness and physicality to go along with the great soccer players and athleticism that we have. I think it's relatively easy to get the good players. It's much more difficult to get the good mindset and the winning mentality going, and so we've already started with that process. We're working hard on it daily, and hopefully come August we'll be ready to go.
I think Jason sort of left that mentality along as well. He built a winning repertoire here, so
sure.
It shouldn't be too difficult to sort of keep that winning mentality going and that toughness, should it?
That's what we hope. And through the work we do in training sessions and in the fitness centre and so on, hopefully that will continue over the course of the season.
Okay, enough soccer talk. Let's talk about Ged the person. Folks at home, he has a little bit of an accent. So Ged, let people know where you're from.
I'm from Manchester in England originally. Came over here a long time ago now, but still have managed to keep the accent. But came over here to go to college, and then from college transitioned pretty much into the coaching world. So
when's the last time you actually went back to Manchester?
I was back there in December. I was there for maybe 3 days, there to recruit, and then come back over. It's too cold over there. Give me,
Oh, so you like the weather here?
Yes, yeah.
Talking about the weather, you came from Florida weather to Troy weather. I mean, what's that like?
It's quite cold at the minute. It's cold, and then when we went outside this morning to stretch and cool down, there was a lot of fog outside and it was misty, and not really used to that yet. But it's still nicer than England, so I can't really complain too much.
So, at what age did you really get into soccer?
Oh, I think back home, you know, as soon as you can start walking, they give you a soccer ball. So maybe 2, 3, 4, and we just played it ever since. You know, you get a break at school, or you come home after school, you go out, and everyone plays soccer.
So a normal day for you was just kicking around the soccer ball. You didn't really do too much else. Just
go to school, come home, play some soccer, do a few, relax, play with friends.
Do you have any siblings growing up?
I've got a half sister back in England, Shannon. So
was she very big on soccer as well?
No, she's a lot younger. She's more into studying and just listening to music and the internet and that kind of things.
So you're sort of just juggling the ball by yourself?
A little bit.
Well, I'm pretty sure that improved your personal skills. But when you came over to the States, kind of what was, I guess everybody asks what's different when you come over to the States. For you personally, what was different when you came over to the States?
Just the whole culture and the way college is focused around sports. Back in England, people go to college and it's studying first, and if you can play sports on the side, you'll play sports. Over here, there's such a big focus on combining the athletic with the academic side. That's been obviously a great plus, you know, for the likes of myself and the other internationals coming over. It's fantastic, you know, from the facilities, the scholarships, everything is just geared towards the athletic mentality, which is fantastic.
When you came over to the States, did you go to college in the southern?
I went to college in Florida. Yeah.
So you've always been around this sort of college football atmosphere. You know how big it is down here, and I think that's a big reason why sports are so important, at least in this part of the country.
Oh, sure, yeah. Even I remember going to watch a high school football game when I was in college with my girlfriend at the time, and I couldn't believe the size of the crowd. It was huge, and that was just for high school. So no, it's brilliant.
And when you moved from St. Leo's to Troy, did you bring a family along with you?
No, my better half, she'll be moving up at some point in the next couple of months. She's got work and school commitments and so on that she's got to finish up, and then she'll make the transition up with Guinness, the little dog that we have as well.
What's that like, having a family and having to sort of move all of a sudden?
It's a challenge, especially with the way the position happens so quickly. You know, she's still doing a master's and she's got her full-time job as well. So, you know, being separated and still living out of boxes up here and then boxes down there, it's certainly just a hectic time at the minute.
And so when you're all settled and everything's all said and done, sort of what do you want your message to be, not only to the Troy soccer team, but to Troy's soccer fan base, because they do have a pretty large following at their games?
I've seen that online, watching some of the games and so on. I think the biggest thing to say to the players is that we care for them as people. I think that's vital for them to see that we're invested in them, not just in your ability to play soccer. And when they see that, I think they're going to be more invested in themselves and their teammates, so that when we get out on the field, they're going to be playing for each other. We do that, I think we stand a good chance of winning more games, and the crowds will continue to come out, and then it's a big snowball effect.
One final question. A lot of people say that Troy's community around here, the people are very friendly and very nice. I'm not sure if you've experienced that part yet, but if there's one piece of advice that you could tell the community when they meet you, what would that be?
First, try and understand the accent, what I'm saying. But no, even when I came up in the interview process, meeting with all the different coaches and so on, family and community it was pretty clear that this was a very family-orientated environment, and certainly a community that I'm happy and fortunate to be around.
All right, Coach, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope your move to Trojan territory gets a little bit easier pretty soon and that you can get acclimated. But thank you all for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Sports Now in our interview segment with head coach of the Troy soccer team, Ged O'Connor.
Thanks.